Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Dub, man. We back at it with another video. Hey, man, today there's a lot of things going on, but this was like the big story on social media and all over YouTube. And I touched on it last time when he popped up, and I decided today, man, I'm gonna touch on it again just to revisit this whole thing. For y'all that don't know, as you can see through the title, we talking about the Joe Budden podcast. And today, man, I just want to touch on a few things. Give Joe his props. Say where I think things went wrong. With Maul, Rory, and all them. And I mean, no big deal, bro. Just a fan watching from the outside, but it's some things I think everybody could learn from this whole situation. Whether if you ever did something with your homeboys or planning on doing anything with your homeboys, there's something to learn from. So we could start with the Joe Budden podcast. So personally, me, the last few episodes I haven't been listening or watching. Like ever since them guys came back, Rory and Maul, he was off, man. He was off. And I mean, apparently everybody sees it now because with the last little problem they had, like I said before, I'm gonna link my last video on there. Y'all can watch it. But this might be a long video actually today, just to let y'all know. But hey, we're gonna talk about it. But yeah, just like on my last video, I said I never really watched the podcast on YouTube. I just listened to it. So certain things I couldn't pick up, like when Rory and Joe Budden were having a little tension. Listening to it, I'm like, man, this dude's just playing around. So until I watched the video, then I'm like, okay, it's some tension. I could see how it be. But yo, that pod when those guys came back from their little thing, it was a little awkward. You feel me? And especially what I noticed more, it was Maul. Maul, like, I knew he wasn't gonna be the same moving forward. Just cause if Joe told him, this is none of your business, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of foul. So moving forward, I could see like Maul wasn't in his, he was over there not laughing like he used to, not joking like that. It seemed like Rory was trying to, get back into regular things, but I got the vibe from Maul that nah, this shit ain't gonna never be the same. So I ain't gonna lie, I low-key stopped. I just lost interest like watching them guys because I was like, bro, this ain't. We came here for the laughs and the jokes. I mean, you guys don't do that many interviews, so I feel like they pod if ain't no jokes and clowning about shit, bro, I'm not listening to it. So that's how I feel about the pod. And I was just having that convo with the homie like a few days ago. I'm like, bro, I haven't even listened to their pod. The vibes, shit's just not the same. My homeboy was like, actually, they didn't even record this week. They took a vacation. Then this morning, you feel me? I wake up, I see a few tweets. Then my homeboy sent me a link. He like, bro, the pod is done. I'm like, what? So I click on the link and it's the podcast. Joe's just doing the podcast by himself. So I was like, oh wow, this is what everybody's talking about. Hi. So then, of course, I listened to it, heard what Joe had to say. And I gotta give Joe his props. He did come clean a lot of like talking about transparency. He was transparent about a lot of things, man, that we were wondering. I mean, like I said, bro, some of these things, some of us knew. Like we knew money was the problem. Like the other little shit just made it like, okay, so money was the initial problem, then the other stuff just made it, easy for it to blow up. And you could just tell from that, like, and even Joe kind of said that, like, yeah, he wasn't the problem that Rory was trying to fight me. Like, that ain't a thing. But shit, I could tell, like, the small things was aggravating guys. Like, Maul and Rory felt like, yo, we're not getting paid that much. Yeah, we ain't gonna put in no effort to it. And you could always get that vibe from Maul, like, bro, I don't care about this like that. Which, I mean, that's not the best thing. But, hey, if you feel like you're not getting paid enough, then okay, I could see why he was acting like that. But Joe said a lot of things that I feel like he was on point about. And I mean, before we say what's wrong with what Joe did, let's talk about the things that he kind of. I feel like he was in the right. One thing he did clarify though that I think was kind of important was that he kind of said Rory and Mal, they were not day ones. You feel me? Which, I mean, I guess like literally day ones. No, they wasn't. But I mean, for most people, when they found the pod, those guys were like a big part of the pod. I remember when I first found the pod, Mal wasn't there. You know, he was like way back. You know, when Charlamgne kind of was talking to Joe, and Joe was kind of getting started, but Rory was there. I remember that. I remember them too, like for sure. And Marissa, like I remember. That's when I remember the pod. Then I really wasn't. I wasn't on to them like that because at the time I was listening to like the Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne and Schultz more. But I felt like Schultz and Charlamagne in the music side, they was lacking. So that's when I really started listening to the JBP more. Then later on, Mal came on, and I was like, Mal, that name sounds familiar. But I remember Brendan Jennings used to always repost Mal on Twitter. So I was like, yeah, that's where I knew dude from. So yeah, fast forward to a few things Joe said. Joe said they were not day one, so he didn't feel like they deserved whatever, equity and all that. Which, I mean, that's valid. Then another thing that I felt like Joe was right about is these dudes, they weren't in position to really start their own things. You feel me? Like, cause that type of leverage, anybody with sense just understands how leverage works. Even if you were an athlete, you feel me, at any level, high school, if you like a good athlete, high school, college, you understand when you on that team, the leverage you got around campus just to get certain things done is different when you're not on that team. You feel me? So you got to try to get as much connections, as much meetings when you have that leverage. So with Rory and Mal being part of the Joe Budden podcast, you feel me? That being like the top podcast, them dudes will definitely use that time to start their own things. And that's what everybody kind of been saying. You feel me? Like, yo, branch off. Use Joe. Like, because Joe was a brand already. You feel me? Without y'all. And I think that's where this whole thing just comes back to. Is like, Joe felt like, yo, I was a brand before y'all. Like, so y'all can't take credit for a lot of this shit. And that's why, like I said on my last video, when Mal was having like a little seminar, I don't know if he was charging, but he had some type of seminar sometime back. For y'all who listen to the pod probably heard it. I was like, I wouldn't go to a Mal seminar because I mean, it's easy to have a podcast that does well when you join with a well-known rapper. Some people know Joe from reality TV. Like, Joe already had 1 million followers. It's not like Mal built anything from the ground up, so he can't really teach a class on that. So that's how I felt then. But I remember Joe telling them, yo, you do this fashion shit, you should start something on the side. And they looked at it, I don't know, you sound like they was just joking, but I was like, nah, that's a good idea. Like, bro, y'all gotta try to build something besides this. I mean, that's just, I don't know how they, even Savon started a podcast. You feel me? And I'm sure without the pod, Savon will struggle going that podcast. I don't know how well it's doing, but him being on the JBP, that's leverage that you got just from the brand. So I feel like they didn't use that. They didn't use that leverage nicely, because now y'all don't have the same sauce y'all would have had with that name attached to y'all. You feel me? So, which I still feel like they could do something. So that's one part that I was like, bro. I feel like Joe was right on that. Where I felt Joe was kind of wrong was, like I said, it's a lot of equity talk and all that. Always been thrown around. But yeah, as Joe knows, companies, especially big companies, bro, equity is given to like people who are there from the jump most of the time. So that's why, like, every time Joe brings up the equity talk, a lot of people are like, bro, this company's not giving you equity, bro. You were not there from the jump when these companies were built, not just building something on top of it. You feel me? Like, you gotta think these companies are like, yo, without they looking at it like we doing you a favor. Like, you were looking at Maul and Rory like you doing them a favor because you already got the people. You already came with a brand with the eyeballs. Like, that's how the companies look at you. Like, look at Joe. Like, bro, us bringing you to Spotify, like, is you do help us, but we give you an audience, like a bigger audience too. So that's why, yeah, like, this company, they're not just giving equity. Then also another thing that Joe kind of made clear, and yeah, like, I'm reading this book by 50, man. This book, bro. It's a good book because he kind of talk about what he talks about, and what I just touched on is kind of how when guys are in position to have leverage and branch off, some guys just too lazy to do it, or they just don't see that they're too cool to do it. And he said that's what happened with Lloyd Banks. And I mess with Banks, but I could see that being a problem. Like, and that's what Maul kind of looked like. Maul was just too cool and too laid back for certain things. But yeah, other thing you got to give props to Joe. He said this guy's got a raise, and you feel me? He had no deal. That's kind of crazy, because even me, I was thinking like, bro, how are these dudes making no money without a deal? Because, I mean, you could look at YouTube numbers, which they touched on. You could see they not doing too much, or they not doing too, like, enough to split the money with all those guys. But I ain't gonna lie, I did think that they split that revenue, but Joe made it clear, like, nah, that YouTube money's mine. Which, I mean, that's a little crazy if you ask me. Yeah, but like I always said, I feel like money became an issue. And when I was saying, like, if Joe turned down 30 mil was kind of crazy, it's not crazy for I think most of us know, we could assume it's not so crazy for Joe to turn that down. But as a team, it's crazy for them to turn that down because them guys not making that money anywhere else. But it's clear that they just employees and Joe is the main thing. So, okay, that makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, I could see Joe turning down that type of money because Joe could probably make that. You feel me? But yeah, and I felt like, yeah, once I heard them numbers being turned down, I'm like, yeah, bro, this shit gonna be a little different for Maul and Rory because I don't know where them guys gonna get that bag from. And I want another thing that kind of came clear was like Rory and Joe not really friends like that. You feel me? And we're gonna play this video with Charlamgne. You feel me? He predicted this shit. But this part was kind of what came into fruition today, though. Listen.
Right? I love this. I don't know how close you and Joe are. To me, it seems like Joe and Mal have been knowing each other for a long time. I feel like Joe is loyal to his friends.
Okay, so
the guys he meets through the industry, y'all kind of disposable.
Joe, are we industry friends?
I don't know. That's how I see it.
I'm just in awe of this guy's good.
Am I wrong?
He is.
Nigga, yeah.
So Rory's like your friend?
Yeah, Rory's my friend.
Okay. So I hope Joe Budden doesn't fuck.
So yeah, man, that was that. Like, Joe said, yeah, that's my friend and all that, but seeing how things playing out, because he really got smoked for Rory. It's not like he got smoked for Maul like that. But, I mean, because he even fought Rory on air. Like, that was kind of crazy. But, yeah, Joe saying, like Charlamagne said, like, y'all not really friends like that. And Joe kind of said that. And I knew Joe was, he was a little weird when Joe was like, Maul used to never ride with Rory. And I was like, yo, if y'all friends, like, you shouldn't even look at this situation like that. But, I mean, it's clear. You know what I mean? Like, dog, yo wasn't close like that. That's why this shit went how it went. But if them guys, they should have. I mean, if they were getting paid and there was no deal, bro, you can't cry about potting. You feel me? Like, bro, that was like the easiest job most people could have. Like, and it's a lot of people waiting. A lot of people waiting to get on that position. You know, take y'all positions and use that spot wisely. And I feel like I just hope the next people who do get on that position, whether it's Ish and Ice, whatever contract they try to have, they gotta try to have where they could build their own thing, where they could use Joe's audience to do their own thing, so they're not super dependent on Joe like this, just in case shit goes left like this. Because I even heard him say, like, if Marlon and Rory try to do another podcast like within a year, he gonna sue him. Which I was like, yeah, if them was your friends, that's kind of whack. You know what I mean? But you gotta give Joe his props. He did come. He was super transparent. But like most of us knew already, bro, this shit was like, it was really about money. Like, you could just tell, like, they was trying to mask it with all the other shit. But nah, bro, we felt like it was money. But at the same time, you can't really blame Joe for going how he went about it. But at the same time, Joe gonna have to understand that's how the company is gonna treat you. Business is business at the end of the day, and that's just what it is. You feel me? Like, and that's what happens with his friends. Like, this shit is just business. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes feel underpaid. They trying to audit him, like, which, I mean, that's a little. But hey, business is business. Like, it sound like Joe took that personal too. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but hey, I guess the pod is over. I mean, I'm gonna listen to it though. You know what I'm saying? If Ish and Ice come back, them dudes was cool. I'm gonna tap in because their energy was cool. Like, I feel like they could hold it down. And shout out to Rory and Maul. Like, this one, bro, if they come back from this one, then god damn, bro, like, it just shows they got no leverage at all. Like, they can't get a bag anywhere else, because that was a lot, bro. Like, that was a lot. And I could see Maul maybe coming, because Maul's vibes was off the most. So I definitely don't see him coming back. And I don't see how Rory could come back. Like, he got violated, bro. Like, that's tough. But, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel about that whole situation. And where do y'all think who went wrong and who did what right? But y'all let me know down below. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And, man, y'all stay tuned. It's your boy K-Dub, and I'm going to holla at y'all. Peace.